Thank you for taking the time to be with me today. I want you to close your eyes and think about your bookkeeping department and procedures. Are there piles of paper? Do you review your reports regularly? Without opening your eyes, consider, are you unhappy with your current bookkeeping process? Do you use cloud-based accounting? Let's dig in. Accounting is the foundation of your business. I'm Marielle Diaz with Accounting for Jewelers, and I don't care if you have outstanding customers and products all day long, but if your pricing is poor or your spending patterns are bad, then none of it really matters. The only way to rein it all in is to understand it from the accounting. Today, I'm going to introduce you to an ecosystem for the foundation of your business. To get there, I have translated the holistic wheel of health into the pillars of what we base a healthy business upon. You're going to learn the holistic approach to accounting. This is something I've developed especially for you. What is cloud accounting? The program that changed my life, Xero, how it differs from desktop software, advantages and disadvantages, and the ecosystem of tools to create a streamlined workflow from point of sale to bookkeeping using the cloud. Like all good self-help books, I have a disclaimer. The bottom line is that there are always exceptions and you are responsible for your own actions. While the programs we use make everyone's life easier when used correctly, I do not recommend they be set up or managed by someone without an extensive understanding of accounting. Have your in-house bookkeeper certified in the programs and/or outsource it to us or another provider, or use our Xero do-it-yourself course. Thanks to GIA, we have a clear diagram showing us that everything plays its part and contributes to the whole. Whole equals holistic. Holistic philosophies are characterized by seeing that different parts of something are interconnected and parts of a greater whole. If you're familiar with integrative nutrition, you may have seen a wheel similar to this before. We want to be healthy, but there has to be moderation in every facet. We thrive when we focus on all 7 aspects of our lives in equal measure. How do you cope with life through your beliefs, and what are your values? What do you do to keep growing and learning? Don't forget about your body and the complicated concept of breathing, something I have to work on. How do you foster and maintain your relationships? What are your surroundings? Are you struggling, satisfied, or grounded, knowing that you wouldn't know the good if you hadn't met the bad? Are you living within your means? You are at the core. You are the light refracting out of all of these facets. If you find yourself pulled to the holistic approach to life for yourself, then have you thought about this for your store? I bet you have. Give this a way to clearly see the big picture and understand where we are slacking and how to improve. There is an exercise from integrative medicine to start at the center point of each segment and color in the percentage of the pie for how well you think you're doing in each area. Once you've shaded in a percentage of each segment, you can look at the wheel as a whole and see what areas are off and need your focus. A wheel can't roll if it's not in balance and not a full circle. So I've adapted this into the holistic accounting wheel, which you can find as a download along with this video. And you can get messy with it and figure it out for yourself in your own store. The wheel won't roll if it's out of balance, just like a stone won't look nice if the symmetry is fair. So how do we translate this to your store? Well, for spiritual access, does everything you do help the story of your brand's vision? How do you interact with people and how do they access you? In addition to your store, can people buy online? E-commerce is what we're talking about here. And what does your current sales receipt process say to your customer? Are you all about the state-of-the-art laser and scopes in your workshop, but your sales staff is still using carbon copy receipts? These are things that we want to think about that might be things we can change. The emotional part of your business is your customer. Who is your ideal client? What is important for you to know about them to provide your best service? There are plenty of workbooks on there on building an avatar for your ideal client, so please Google some. There's a great one by shopcompliment.com called In Her Head, which is a quick download. And I'm not an affiliate, I just think it's awesome. The intellectual part is for growth. Do you set monthly, quarterly, and annual sales goals? Do you track the actuals in comparison to the goals on a weekly basis? Do you set quarterly expense limits for different categories, such as advertising and donations? Do you set team performance checkpoints and rewards? Do you have good reporting to do any of this? What are your KPIs, key performance indicators? The physical part is your records. What is your filing system? Do you have a system in place for all inlets, such as paper and email? What about job and sales tracking? The social side is your team. Who is your team? I'm not just talking about employees, but your suppliers and your accountant. The environment is your products. How do you keep track of inventory? And finally, the financial part is your money. How do you accept payments and how do you pay your vendors? These are all things we know we have to focus on, but we can get lost in the sauce if we don't have a system in place. So you need to have a system in place for each of these components. Enter technology. We know the internet has changed the way we live with anytime, anywhere access. And with cloud accounting, you can now reconcile your bank account, get paid via credit card, and record an expense all while standing in line at the grocery store from your phone. Cloud accounting is where a program and all of your data are stored in the cloud so you and your team can access it from any computer or any device, anywhere, at any time. With traditional desktop software, your data lives on your computer or laptop. This means it's only available at limited times on limited devices and often to a limited number of people. With cloud software, your data lives online, so it's always available from anywhere at any time from any device with an internet connection. Good cloud software will also let an unlimited number of people use it at the same time for no additional cost. I started my bookkeeping career in the early 90s using handwritten ledgers and then moved my family's business into QuickBooks Desktop in 2000. I've always had a passion for the bookkeeping and running the business, but the accounting was a chore. Some of it was repetitive and meditative, but it wasn't enjoyable. I just had to get it done in order to see what was happening. It was the end result of the reports that was meaningful, but the actual task of getting there wasn't fun. Because we as humans are resistant to change, I didn't move to cloud-based accounting until 2014, and my first attempt was with QuickBooks Online because that was the household name I knew, even though Xero had been around since 2005. Then I heard about Xero from a fellow CPA and decided to give it a chance. Enter Xero. Xero is now the core of everything I do. I'm sharing it with you today because it changed my life. Through all of my travels as a jeweler, I consistently saw the need for better accounting procedures. I didn't know enough, so I went back to school to get a degree in accounting. But university doesn't teach you how to use programs, they teach you the theory. I went to work in corporate accounting where I managed budgets, assets, became an expert in Excel, and learned that accounting is not life or death. Large corporations use their own proprietary programs. Sometimes it wasn't much of an improvement over ledgers. Since 2008, I had the idea for accounting for jewelers. It was my phantom child that kept haunting me to define something that actually worked and could be duplicated across stores, from studio artists, mom and pop shops, to franchises. With the components of our holistic accounting wheel, we needed something robust and flexible. Let's take a look at Xero.
Are you struggling to run your business with a spreadsheet or accounting software that feels like it's from another time? Xero helps small businesses work the way they need to now, from any device, anywhere. Stop wasting time on data entry. Xero connects straight to your bank. Get paid faster. Xero sends quotes and invoices that your customers can accept and pay online with the tap of a button. Manage your purchase orders, bills, and supplier payments electronically or by check. Xero's inventory system helps you track stock and keeps your accounts up to date as you buy and sell. Pay staff with seamless payroll and accounting. Employees can submit expense claims, view payslips, and submit timesheets online. Drag and drop files anywhere in Xero, so documents sit right next to your transactions. Xero keeps you on top of the numbers with easy, customizable reports so you'll always know how your business is performing. Connect Xero with a huge range of apps in our add-on marketplace to run all aspects of your business. Agriculture, hospitality, retail. You name it, it's there. To Xero in and get started, sign up for a free trial on Xero.com. Our quick start guide will help you get up and running in no time. Xero. It's a pleasure doing business.
So what is Xero? It's a general accounting program that can be used in any industry and is the competitor to QuickBooks. QuickBooks is the household name in the US, and their online program has 2 times more users at 1.5 million than Xero at 720,000. These were 2016 numbers. However, Xero is the leading accounting software in New Zealand, Australia, and the UK, with a quickly catching on North American following. So if QuickBooks is owned by Intuit and will continue to improve, why do I believe in Xero? Simple. It is an intuitive design, partnered with true double-entry accounting program. Unlike QuickBooks, who is building upon their age-old procedures and chasing after what Xero has done, they're about 2 years behind. Xero was created for the cloud with the following thought process. With all of the available technology, what is the easiest way to get from point A to point B and maintain proper accounting principles? QuickBooks and other cumbersome programs have the tendency to make one put it off and have a negative relationship. I love running my business, but I hate the accounting. I want to get the job done in the most efficient manner, and with Xero, it's actually fun. Yes, you heard me correctly. Xero is functional. So I want to do some myth busting about some advantages and disadvantages. Aren't you stuck if the internet goes down? Yes, actually. If you are not open to it as an opportunity to do something else, these days the internet is like electricity. It's very rare for it to go down, and when it does, you just have to wait a short time for it to be available again. In the meantime, all of your data is safe in the cloud. And actually, this year, I've had 2 outages, which are very rare. First, some of you may have experienced it, the internet broke. It's a slight exaggeration, but Amazon Web Servers S3 went down for 3 hours, and this means every website that stores anything on their servers was unavailable. My reports on Gusto payroll couldn't be pulled up, Xero shut down, basically my life ended. What have I done? Why am I speaking about cloud accounting? After I checked all the things I couldn't do, I realized it was the perfect time to handle things that don't rely on the internet. And it was, in reality, a minuscule amount of time in comparison to my everyday work that occurs in cloud-based accounting. But then, we've also had awful storms in Nashville, and our internet has gone out. Again, I could have been disturbed by Comcast or mad at the tree that fell, or not thought of the people that were hit by tornadoes north of us. But these are things that I do consider, and I was happy to pay attention to other things that ended up needing to get done, and the internet, again, was only down for less than 30 minutes. I would argue that it's still more convenient to have cloud-based bookkeeping than being somewhere without access to the computer, to the one computer that has a program downloaded to it, or access only to an old backup that might not have been updated recently. Next, we've got security and loss of data. And I want to point out that your data is actually safer in the cloud than it is stored on your computer. There's no physical external hard drives or computers that can be stolen or risk damage from fire or natural disaster. They are as secure, if not more so, than your online banking. Xero conducts routine penetrative testing They undergo external security audits and have multiple firewalls and security that is configured, monitored, and updated according to industry best practice. There's also two-factor identification for logins. So even if someone were to get your login information, if you have the two-factor enabled, they still can't get in without an additional one-time code that's sent to your phone. So it's like a token. I also hear that people are like, in QuickBooks, I have my bank feeds in my desktop program. No, you don't. Direct Connect feeds mean you can download transactions from your bank, but you still have to initiate it each time, and additional fees often apply. Web Connect feeds mean you have to download the transactions for a given period and then import them. And if you don't upgrade every 3 years, no bank access for you. Bank feeds in Xero automatically update and show the same thing as when you sign into your bank online for processed transactions. Most businesses fail because of faulty or inconsistent bookkeeping. You need to know your numbers in real time to make decisions. Unlike other programs, Xero is centered on automatic bank feeds for your business. This way, we automatically catch the majority of inflows and outflows right at the source. We are able to do bookkeeping in real time, so you are able to see where you are daily, weekly, and monthly instead of scrambling each quarter, or worse, with a box of receipts at year end or trying to code everything in bulk. I can do it myself. Let me introduce you to Richard Branson. If you do not understand accounting, do not go at it alone. It's not worth the mistakes or extra work and cost to have it fixed. Do as Richard Branson says and hire those that can do a job better than you for efficiency and knowledge of tax law. But there's a monthly fee. There is an initial reaction of cold feet about paying a monthly fee, but in my opinion, the Xero subscription is the cost or less the cost of a dinner out depending on where you live. It's $30 a month for the standard package and alleviates so many headaches and sleepless nights that it is worth so much more and leaves a lasting impression than a meal. The cost of updating software, cost of storing backups, the additional cost for support, and the cost for bank downloads, all of these things for other programs, they add up in both time and money. There is no need to feel like a frazzled monkey. Don't let the monthly fee get to you. You're actually happy to pay it once you get in there and see the benefits. Additional advantages and disadvantages. For Xero advantages, there's a better overview of your finances. It improves collaboration with your team. There's higher efficiency and productivity, which means that instead of spending time on data entry, we can focus on strategy, growth, and refining cash flow instead of chasing down and paying late, not knowing clearly who owes you and who you owe. We don't have to move data from place to place, so accountants now have access to see exactly what you see. Everyone has their own login for audit purposes. It isn't one person that has the access and key people don't readily use or view it. You can set permissions to control the extent of access for each user. There's no saving a file, sending it only to find out it's corrupt and can't be opened. You don't have to remember to back it up to the cloud and risk storing it where there aren't the same security features already established in Xero. And then there's the customer support. Your first point of contact is your certified advisor, which is what we act as at Accounting for Jewelers. And then there's Xero support. Some complain that they don't have a direct phone number, but they will call you if needed. I actually admire the way they have set up their support more than QuickBooks. I've sat on the phone for hours in the past to resolve an issue with someone that knew less than me. Whereas Xero routes the tickets to an expert in the topic, so the person that helps you can actually reach a solution faster. The ease of working together. If someone phones or emails me, we can hop on a screen share and resolve an issue instantly. Every program has its risks, advantages, and disadvantages. I'm not here to convert you, I'm here to educate you, so you can make an informed decision based on what you are comfortable with. Intuit QuickBooks is not going anywhere, and I actually love some of the things they've unveiled in recent months, such as images and inventory and the retail point of sale, but the procedures themselves have yet to change. They've actually even updated that their bank feeds are more centralized to QuickBooks Online now. But it's still not as easy and intuitive to use as Xero. And the problem that I continuously see with QuickBooks is that it's either not set up right, or people don't understand the procedure, so things are missing and out of place, and it causes errors. Xero and QuickBooks will both continue to improve their functionality, and they will both provide complete accounting programs. So you just have to choose which one you like best. Please note, QuickBooks has a demo site that you can access without registering. It's an accountant secret, so don't tell anyone I told you, but visit qbo.intuit.com/redir, like a redirect, /test drive. For Xero, you can sign up for a free trial and then access their demo company as well. It's like a sandbox. So if you import your information into the free trial and have intentions to actually use the account long term, the demo company is a great way to play around and test out the product with fake information and without messing up your own account. So now that we understand why Xero, let's look at developing a streamlined workflow using the holistic accounting wheel. Xero is all-inclusive. You don't actually need anything else. But if you do want to scale up or are looking for a specific feature or have a specific program already, we can integrate it. And here I've outlined my best of list. There are a multitude of other options, but I've done the homework for you, so you don't need to try anything else out. This is the best of for our industry. So in the starting clockwise, we've got the spiritual section, and this is access, like e-commerce and point of sale. So you can use Stripe, PayPal, or your merchant processor in invoices direct within Xero and email them to your customer, and your customer can pay online. But you can also integrate directly with Square. So if you have Square point of sale or Lightspeed point of sale, as well as Shopify. So Shopify's website e-commerce and the point of sale, Shopify point of sale, are excellent. It's actually my favorite integration with Xero. It's seamless and beautiful. So I have some videos on here that you can watch for some of these specific integrations, and they follow this video. We're just going to skip over them in this wheel. So the next section is your clients, and this is your customers and your customer relationship management. So you can use something like Untitled, but if you already have Lightspeed for your point of sale, then use Lightspeed to manage your customers because they do a great job. You can also manage customers in Xero, but it's not going to be as in-depth as customer relationship management programs made specifically for that purpose. So this video is on Untitled, and we're going to skip it now. You can watch it below. The next section is intellectual. So here I've got goals. We're talking about your reports and sales goals, and this is what makes Xero beautiful. We get to focus more on strategic planning, cash flow management, bookkeeping, forecasting and budgeting, process improvement, your virtual CFO, financial statement analysis, and you can build on top of Xero with things like Lightspeed, as well as Float, Fathom, and many others, but it just depends on your needs. And Xero is very robust, so you can actually be surprised by what you can get in there. The next section is the physical, your records. We're talking about your filing system in the cloud. Do you need a receipt box, shoebox, HubDoc, any of these apps? No. I actually recommend and prefer Xero's own document processing inbox, and find that other programs duplicate the work and can cause errors or just duplicated work. I had to say it twice because it's duplicating the work. The filing system in Xero, you can attach it per transaction, by contact, or sorted folders. The goal is to go paperless. You can attach receipts, but you can also have access to your private inbox and upload directly to or email in attachments on the fly, so you don't have to go back and remember what you missed. You do it as it happens. Then the receipts are waiting to remind you to enter them. They can be attached to individual transactions as well as contacts for your own virtual filing system. You don't have to have a shoebox of receipts. You actually can be paperless. And you can take a picture of the receipt at the post office, attach it, and enter the expense all before you leave the parking lot. The person responsible for receiving packages can check everything in from an iPad against an existing purchase order, or enter a bill and attach a picture of the source document. So you have a paperless trail. That's our goal. You can be more flexible, and you can be at a jewelry show, upload images of or enter your receipts and purchase orders as soon as you get them in your hands. You can attach the source documents directly to the transactions. You can even take pictures of the inventory and have that as a backup, so you can see exactly what it was that was purchased if it's not shown on the invoice. And again, in Lightspeed, you can have another level of records, and in Bill.com, for large businesses, large jewelry stores that are managing a high amount of account payables on credit, where you're paying monthly bills every month to Stellar and Jules Burrell and Rio and all of these things, then something like Bill.com is very useful. The next section is team, and here I'm talking about payroll for Gusto. We choose Gusto over ADP and Paychex for the ease and cost savings. It integrates directly with Xero. It also integrates with T-Sheets, so for time tracking, you don't have to do anything. We can even set up departments and teams that translate into tracking into Xero. So we can have your bench and production workers' wages and cost of goods sold, your salespeople and regular wage expense, and track personnel between store locations if you have more than one. I can't say enough about Gusto. One store I switched from Paychex to Gusto saved $260 a month in payroll fees. And so there's also a video on Gusto. So the next section is environment, and we're talking about inventory. So use point of sale, or for wholesalers, Deer, with e-commerce, concentrated, or TradeGecko if you're having warehousing. Benchworks is for small stores, or just use Xero's inventory and track your inventory separately, and we can make adjustments periodically. Xero does not track inventory. It only tracks finished goods. So if you're buying and selling the same thing, then it will track it from purchase to sale and make the correct movements. It does not track manufacturing or bill of materials from raw materials through works in process to finished goods. If you have a starting physical inventory, then we can easily make monthly, quarterly, and annual adjustments based on new purchases and the cost of your sales. You have to track that externally, just like in QuickBooks, unless you have the manufacturing program. We'd love to educate on periodic perpetual inventories. So if you prefer something other than a spreadsheet, you will have to use something like TradeGecko, Deer Inventory, Benchworks, Bejeweled software. There's a lot of them out there, and we can talk about that in another program. For the financial section, we're talking about getting paid and paying. So we're talking about point of sale, sending quotes for custom orders so that they can be accepted. You can do that right in Xero. You can invoice straight from Xero and get paid straight in Xero using your existing merchant processor if you have an external point of sale system. Or you can integrate anything. So, if you want to sign up for a different one. PayPal and Stripe are main options, but then there's, of course, a plethora of merchant processors, even ones from your bank. For small stores, you really don't need anything else in addition to Xero. It will do everything as is. But if you need to scale up with Square point of sale, Shopify point of sale, or Lightspeed point of sale, then it's available and we can integrate that into Xero. So it's not extra, you're not duplicating the work anywhere. And then again, for Bill.com, paying creditors, it's an exceptional program. Tracks all of your bills in one section per contact in order of date, and you can upload the paper documents as backup source documents. You can have the company enter their banking information that's all secure, and you can do direct deposit into their account. This flexibility and robustness of Xero are many of the reasons that I've chosen Xero over an industry-specific accounting software such as the Edge, and I'm not referring to the YouTube musician. Xero has almost 800,000 users, probably more now since the last time I looked, whereas the Edge has 3,000 users. So general accounting software customized for the jewelry industry, what we do at Accounting for Jewelers, allows for much greater features than many of the programs developed directly for the industry that cost more. Xero just has more resources. So in addition to Xero's own resources, there are greater resources and companies that contribute to make Xero what it is. So this is just a breakdown, a chart version of what we just went through. So you can see all of the holistic origination to how I identified it within a business, and then the processes that go with each of those facets, and then the base of what you need, and then if you need to scale up because of the size of your business. So now, because of Xero, I love the purpose and the process. Now that you understand what Xero is, if you do your accounting yourself, or want to, or if you have a bookkeeper on staff and you want to train them in a new process, please sign up for our do-it-yourself course on Xero so that you can learn all the procedures and get up and running and do it properly from the start. So there's no confusion, no issues, no cleanups are needed. Go to accountingforjewelers.com/DIY to reserve your seat. If enrollment is open, you can have immediate access. I really look forward to working with you, and thank you for taking the time out of your day to join me. So now you know the holistic approach to accounting. What cloud accounting is, you now have been introduced to Xero, beautiful accounting software, its advantages and disadvantages, and an ecosystem of the best tools for jewelry stores. I hope you've enjoyed my presentation, and please feel free to comment, send emails. I appreciate all of the interaction.